This video is sponsored by Pretty Litter. Last month, I built Ralph the world's greatest cat fort. It's 4 stories tall, including his luxurious carpeted penthouse suite, and even has a working drawbridge. And after completely ignoring it initially, he's become really quite fond of his castle. But the high life has gone straight to his fluffy little head. Ralph thinks he's royalty, and admittedly, I guess I sort of treat him like royalty, waiting on him hand and paw. He has legions of adoring fans who send him literally hundreds of drawings and letters, and he's even started only eating gourmet cat food. I'm serious. A few weeks ago I ran out of his normal food, and the expensive stuff was all the shop had left, and since tasting it, he flat out refuses to eat anything else. Thousands of years ago, the ancient Egyptians worshipped cats, and I guess this castle is a monument to just how little times have changed. And I've got to admit, Ralph is pretty adorable and undeniably regal. Ralph, I'm trying to show everyone how regal you are. Well, most of the time. So today, I want to set up an overly elaborate photo shoot to take his royal portrait. If you enjoy this video, please consider subscribing. It makes Ralph and me very happy. For inspiration, I look no further than the human royal family. After examining countless royal portraits, I made the following 3 observations. Number 1, they're usually sat on some kind of incredibly ornate chair or sofa. Number 2, there's often this fancy damask pattern wallpaper, sometimes it even matches the sofa. And number 3, there's lots of gold. On the sofas, around the wallpaper, just lots of it. So whilst real gold is just a tiny bit outside my price range, I could probably get my hands on some gold paint at least, and the posh wallpaper shouldn't be too difficult to find either. The real challenge would be the sofa. Whilst there are companies that specialise in eccentric pet furniture, as you can imagine they are insanely expensive. And if you've ever had a cat, you'll know just how stubborn they can be, rarely using the beds or toys you buy for them, so I couldn't really justify spending hundreds of pounds on a sofa Ralph would likely never use. Instead, I did the next best thing and bought a cardboard one. At least Ralph seemed to like it, but it wasn't exactly the look I was going for. I was back to square one. But then, after several weeks trawling the internet, Ralph found a second-hand cat-sized Shaylonge newly listed on eBay, which he eagerly snapped up for a very reasonable price. And 10 days later, it arrived. Good afternoon, I've got a package from Mr. Ralph. Now I should mention, it is broken. 2 of the legs are very wobbly, and one has entirely fallen off, but I knew this when I bought it, and it's nothing I shouldn't be able to fix. I took the legs off, sanded them down, and spray painted them gold. I figured the easiest way to reattach them would be using some additional strips of wood, which I cut to size. By doing it this way, I could screw down into each leg and then screw up into the Shaylonge itself. Finally, I touched up the paintwork where I'd been a little overzealous with the glue. Good as new, but as could only be expected, Ralph was far more interested in the box it came in. I don't know why I'm even surprised anymore. Next, it was time for the background. I endured the horrifically long queue at the hardware store, but managed to find everything I needed easily enough. I bought some wallpaper, some foam boards, these wood effect vinyl floor tiles, a skirting board, and some long strips of wood. I used the foam boards as a backdrop, attached together using the wood. It didn't really seem worth the effort of properly pasting the wallpaper, so instead I used double-sided sticky tape to hold it in place. I mean, it doesn't need to last or look good long term, so I should get away with it. And peeling all the tape was incredibly satisfying. I even impressed myself with how I managed to seamlessly line up each sheet. I really thought I was going to mess this up, so I'm delighted with how it looks. Next, I attached the fake wooden floorboards to more foam boards, cutting them to size where necessary. They were self-adhesive, which made the whole process super easy. And lastly, I cut the skirting board to size and painted it white, and once it had dried, used hot glue to attach it to the backdrop. As a finishing touch, I added a houseplant in a pot which I yet again spray painted gold. How cool does this look? What always amazes me about the magic of photography is that this was just a hastily cobbled together set in my bedroom. But once you crop out the surroundings with the framing of the camera, you're transported to a luxurious cat-sized palace. It looked magnificent, and it was about to look even more so. What do you think, Ralph? He certainly seemed to like the backdrop. And then, much to my surprise, well, this happened. Ralph genuinely loved his Chez Lounge. I didn't even need to bribe him with treats. It was everything I'd imagined. He looked glorious. You know how on school photo day, you have to take a boring, serious photo, and then another where you get to pull a funny face? Well, this is where the catnip came in, and out came the crazy. Ralph just seemed to love the camera, and I got tons of amazing royal portraits, as well as some that weren't quite as royal. I put loads of pictures of Ralph up on Instagram, @HalfAsleepChris, so make sure to head over there if you want to see more of him. And it would absolutely make my day if you took a royal portrait of your own cat. Tag me on Instagram if you do, and I'll include the best ones in the next cat video. Since Ralph lives in a castle and only eats the finest gourmet cat food, it's only fitting that he uses Pretty Litter, the greatest cat litter in all the land. Pretty Litter changes colour with the pH level of your cat's urine to indicate potential health concerns. Red obviously means there's blood, yellow means it's too acidic, which could indicate kidney issues, olive green is normal and healthy, and then blue means it's too alkaline, which could be a sign of bladder problems or a urinary tract infection. Whilst only a vet should diagnose health issues, it can prompt you to take your cat to see one, weeks or even months before they start displaying noticeable symptoms. And as well as this rainbow magic, Pretty Litter uses lightweight crystals similar to silica beads to trap odours and release moisture, meaning that there's no smell. It's virtually dust-free and exceptionally lightweight, and they deliver straight to your door, which is incredibly useful in this age of lockdowns and long queues. One single bag lasts the entire month. Simply scoop out your cat's royal poops and give it a stir. Visit prettylitter.com and use promo code HalfAsleepChris for 20% off your first order. That's prettylitter.com and promo code HalfAsleepChris for 20% off.
Ralph and Tom, they're my favourite little pussycats. Ralph and Tom, they're my favourite little dudes. Ralph has very fluffy ears and Tom's a long cat. They hope you like their videos and subscribe too.